This is NDTV. And you're watching Ndtv-Hindu.
Good evening. The state of Tamil Nadu is rolling up its sleeves for what may be a well-fought battle of the polls. For some, it may be a gamble, else it may be proving to be a game changer. Well, the politicians of our state are certainly keeping us guessing without any numbers out yet or even the allotment of constituencies yet, with barely 40 more days to go. I'm Evelyn Matthew, bringing you the headlines now. Even as word on Congress DMK seat sharing is awaited, MK Aragari boards googly, says Captain never said DMDK was part of AIA DMK's alliance. As the DMK settled with their number match, sources say Congress nods to 60 seats, Ghulam Nabi Azad to touch down tomorrow. Looks like the Election Commission will not budge on the poll schedule despite the many cries. The Chief Election Commissioner acts tough. The Bar Council elections in Tamil Nadu and Puducherry goes off peacefully. For the first time, the Madras High Court steps in. And the Madras High Court directs the TNPSC to submit the answer sheets of candidates from the year 2000. Let's also bring you our national updates now. Veteran Congress leader Arjun Singh is no more. He was 81. Manmohan Singh takes responsibility for P.J. Thomas's appointment a day after the Supreme Court delivers his 71-page verdict. The centre steps up action against tax defaulter Hassan Ali after the Supreme Court wonders why tax evaders are pampered. The Apex Court sends notices to L.K. Advani on the CBI's plea against dropping conspiracy charges in the Babri demolition case. 4 Maoists are granted bail by Orissa's High Court. This was their demand in exchange for the release of collector Krishna. The CBI frames corruption charges against Justice Yadav on the day she retires, making her the first ever sitting judge to be charge-sheeted. In the lowest score in the World Cup, Bangladesh is bowled out for just 58 by the West Indies. And NDTV's team reports from Benghazi on why the east of Libya is so crucial for Gaddafi, the protesters and the world. Just when the top political parties were taking the centre stage, the Chief Minister's son, MK Aragari, thought it was time to turn the tables and the attention to him and with it add a twist as well. This evening, he said that Vijaykanth never said he will be joining the AIA-DMK alliance and that he was a man with great self-respect. So is the actor having second thoughts on alliances with Jayalalitha, or could this just be another googly from the prodigal son, MK Aragari?
தேமுதிக அங்கே சேர்ந்ததாக உறுதியாக நீங்கள் சொல்கிறீர்களா? இன்னும் இதுவரை விஜயகாந்த் வாயிலிருந்து அப்படி ஒரு வார்த்தை வரவில்லை. நண்பர் விஜயகாந்த் வாயிலிருந்து அப்படிப்பட்ட ஒரு வார்த்தை வரவில்லை. மிகவும் ரோசாக்காரர் என்பது எனக்கு தெரியும். அவர் தன்மானம் மிக்கவர் என்பது எனக்கு தெரியும்.
So after days of playing hardball, the Congress and the DMK seem to have reached a consensus on seat sharing. Power sharing, though, still hangs in the balance. The Congress has reportedly agreed to 60 seats, and sources suggest that a joint statement is expected either today or tomorrow. In fact, just last afternoon, the 4th round of talks were called off, and the Tamil Nadu Congress in charge, Ghulam Nabi Azad, skipped the meeting with the Chief Minister too. He is set to arrive tomorrow, though, with the final number. According to sources, the Congress has also been demanding more and wants a share in power as well if the DMK were to be re-elected. The DMK's high-level meet that's slated for tomorrow is also expected to focus on the demands by the Congress as well as the election manifesto. Meanwhile, the Election Commission today ruled out postponing the April 13th Assembly elections in the state as demanded by major political parties, including the opposition, the AIA-DMK, saying every issue was factored in before announcing the schedule. Chief Election Commissioner S.Y. Qureshi said it was advisable to stick to the poll schedule announced by the Commission as it was arrived at after taking into account the situation in all of the states that are going to the polls.
Give some concession to that donor.
Meanwhile, the Chief Electoral Officer here in the state, Praveen Kumar, has called upon most party members to follow the Model Code of Conduct. 6 national parties, 3 regional parties are attending the all-party meet today. Joining us over the phone line with more details into that meet is our reporter Lokpriya, who's been tracking that story. Lokpriya, is that meet over? What can you tell us about what's really going on behind those closed doors?
Well, Evelyn, the meeting has gotten over, and almost all the major parties, political parties, were in attendance. And this meeting was basically held by the electoral officer, Mr. Praveen Kumar. He basically briefed the political parties about the code of conduct and other rules and regulations, the do's and don'ts regarding what the EC had briefed the media yesterday. That was a basic premise behind this whole meeting. And the political party members in turn represented their views, and they put forth their views. We spoke to some of them who had come out of that meeting. Peter Alphonse, the Congress whip, had said that they completely welcomed election date, and they say that they will Congress party will cooperate for all will give extend its full cooperation for the election commission. And one demand put forth by the Congress party, that is by Peter Alphonse, was that they wanted the genuine cases to be reported. For example, the election commission has announced a toll-free number in case if anyone finds that malpractices that are being going on, they can call up that number and complaint. So what Mr. Alphonse was saying was that the genuinity of that particular caller needs to be assured. If the caller is not genuine and he's just doing it to kind of spread a false propaganda or to stall the particular campaigning of a particular political party or of a person, then that needs to penal action needs to be taken. That's what he said. And we also spoke to Mr. Ponmudi, the Higher Education Minister of the DMK, who represented the DMK in the meet, and he said that the DMK will extend its full support to the election commission in conducting a peaceful election, upcoming assembly election. One thing that he put forth was that the campaigning time needs to be extended to at least 11 o'clock in the night for both, irrespective of villages and cities. That's the demand that he put forth. So various different demands put forth by the political party, but overall all of them assured the election commission that they will extend all the support that they can to ensure a free, fair and a peaceful elections in Tamil Nadu.
Right, Lokpriya, also in case of a violation of the Model Code of Conduct, have they come out with special instructions on what they will be doing in terms of action?
Yes, Evelyn, the Chief Electoral Officer, Praveen Kumar, did brief them about the Model Code of Conduct. In fact, he explained patiently to every queries of the officers, the politicians. We assure that the violations should also have been told, because since it was a meeting that was not allowed for the media, we can only tell you that as per the status quo, the electoral officer would have briefed them about the violations also.
Right. Thanks very much indeed, Lokpriya, for joining us with those updates. Well, when elections are very much in the air, especially with regard to the polling date, here is one election which got off the ground today. The Bar Council of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry went for elections. Our senior correspondent Peer Muhammad brings you all of the information.
Almost 50,000 advocates across Tamil Nadu and Puducherry, 172 polling booths, 172 contestants for 25 positions in the Bar Council. The counting of votes will begin on March 10th. It will take several days to know the results as a complex ballot paper system is followed.
There is one polling supervisor and 5 assistants. The lawyers are all trying to manage the situation.
For the first time, the Madras High Court stepped in to oversee the elections after an association of advocates filed a petition alleging malpractices and tampering of electoral rolls. Justice K.P. Sivasubramanian, the court-appointed election commissioner, ensured poll codes were followed and ensured the removal of hoardings put up outside the High Court by some of the candidates.
சென்னை உயர்நீதிமன்றத்தினுடைய உத்தரவின் மூலமாக தமிழ்நாடு பார் கவுன்சில் தேர்தல் இன்றைக்கு நடைபெற்றுக் கொண்டிருக்கிறது. என்னென்ன விதிகளை கடைபிடிக்க வேண்டும் என்று உத்தரவு பிறப்பிக்கப்பட்டிருக்கிறதோ அத்தனை விதிகளையும் கடைபிடித்து இந்த தேர்தல் நடைபெற்றுக் கொண்டிருக்கிறது.
For the first time in the history of the Bar Council of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry, elections are being held under the supervision of the Madras High Court. Some office bearers in the previous tenure have been involved in controversies, but the elections in Chennai have been peaceful. In Chennai, with Peer Muhammad, this is Ashmit Kumar for Ndtv-Hindu.
Now, in what could be a big blow to the TNPSC, the Madras High Court has set aside 83 appointments given by the Tamil Nadu Public Service Commission in 2000 and 2001. The court has directed the body to submit answer sheets of 95 candidates who appeared for the exams conducted then in the year 2000 for posts such as Deputy Collector, Deputy Superintendent of Police and the Commercial Tax Office as well, and prepare a new list of appointees within 6 weeks. Still ahead on the bulletin, a Delhi court spells the end to the Quattroki saga after 25 years of fruitless effort. That's coming up in just a bit.